Ladies and gentlemen, a bill was just passed. Millions may not be able to vote. Check this out.
It is already against the law for non-citizens to vote in elections in the United States, particularly for federal elections. But today, legislation passed in the U.S. House of Representatives that aims to curb non-citizens from voting in federal elections passed. It's called the SAVE Act, and it sounds pretty reasonable on its face, but there are those who say married women could create an unnecessary hurdle for married women, making it harder for American citizens to vote, American citizens who changed their name. Take a listen.
I know for a fact that I did not serve this country for women to not be able to have the right to vote.
Let's not forget that a lot of women that are married do not have a name that matches their birth certificate anymore.
If you're a woman in this country and you have a married name, you need to order your passport. You need to order it today. You need to order it right now.
CNN senior reporter Marshall Cohen's here now. So Marshall, there's clear anger out there. What does the act actually do, and what is the issue for, let's say, a married woman who doesn't have a passport proving that she's a citizen?
Right. So this bill would require proof of citizenship. You got to prove your citizenship when registering to vote in federal elections. You can do that with a passport. You can also show a birth certificate. In some states, a driver's license would work too. But of course, the rub is that the names have to match. And as you just heard, for millions of married American women, the name on their birth certificate might not match what's on their current driver's license. And then on top of that, 50% of Americans don't have a passport. These are the reasons why Democrats have said that this bill, in their view, is voter suppression. And to that point, in some ways, this is a solution in search of a problem when you look at the data. The most comprehensive studies out there have looked at 23 million ballots, a study with 23 million ballots, and 0.0001% were from undocumented immigrants or non-citizens.
Okay, guys, now I'm trying to keep a straight face here. Keep in mind that this is CNN. However, the underlying issue here is, will this affect women's ability to vote? I think personally, we're going to continue here, but I think personally that we have to make sure that the people that are voting in our elections, particularly federal elections, national elections like the President of the United States and so on, we have to make sure that it's citizens voting, right? You don't see other countries, at least not that I know of, you don't see other countries allowing just anybody to come on in and, hey, man, you're from, XYZ country. Yeah, no, come on in and vote. I mean, who cares, right? No, you don't see other countries happening in other countries. And one thing I've noticed too is that it seems to be that other countries are allowed to do things that the United States, apparently, according to some, is not allowed to do. Like, for example, every other country in the world is allowed to protect and defend their borders. But for some reason, there are those out there that think that no, we should just let everyone and anyone in, and totally unvetted, and let them do whatever they want. But anyway, and that's how you collapse a country, by the way. So let's continue.
So how are Republicans defending this?
Well, the guy who wrote the bill, Chip Roy, Republican from Texas, has said all of this hubbub about possibly disenfranchising women, he says it's, quote, absurd armchair speculation. I should point out that many Republican women voted for this bill today on the House floor. They pointed out that there are provisions in the legislation that tell the states that they need to come up with a plan for people to rectify discrepancies in the documents. And also, Jake, Republicans have defended this bill by saying that it's popular. I looked at some of the recent polls, Gallup and AP. When they ask people broadly, do you think that Americans should prove their citizenship before voting? It's about 70 to 80% that say yes. But of course, we'll see. It's not law yet. Next stop is the Senate, where Democrats could filibuster it.
Watch what eggs do to your brain. Take a look at these two brain scans. They
Oh my
both look
God.
young, strong.
The chickens are putting out propaganda.
I have been so wrong about this man because I
been
never understood why you fight
so
the way you
wrong.
fight. You're a family man.
So wrong. That's another video. So, but anyway, I don't know. We'll see what happens, guys. But the bottom line is, we've had a lot of, let's say, shenanigans going on during our elections, and I think more is going to come out about that. But like I said, the bottom line is, a country has to have a stable, secure voting system in order to remain a stable, secure country. That's the bottom line, guys. Bottom line. So, all right. So let's just make sure that we use common sense. I think we need to get back to an an atmosphere of common sense in this country. Dave Hodges from the Common Sense Show on YouTube, and he does his shows on other platforms as well. Um, his show is called the Common Sense Show, and quite appropriately. Um, and unfortunately, common sense isn't so common anymore. Hence, one of the reasons why I think he did. He named his channel what he did, and you almost need to have a channel called Common Sense Isn't So Common, or something along those lines. But let's get back to basics. Let's get back to common sense and use that common sense, use logic and reason to get our country back and make sure that it is stable. All right, everybody, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll leave a link below in the description if you guys want to check out that video for yourselves. But keep in mind that that's CNN. So, yeah. All right, well, guys, we'll see you soon. Have an awesome day, and we're going to keep praying. We're going to keep praying.